Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with another video. So this is going to be a video about the reveal of uh, at least part of the Batman costume, the Batsuit, for the film The Batman, which is coming out in 2021, starring Robert Pattinson as Batman and starring Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. So I just wanted to give my thoughts on the costume, on at least the little bit that's been revealed of the costume. So my thoughts on the costume from what we've seen thus far. The casting of Robert Pattinson as Batman, the casting of Zoe Quinn, not Zoe Quinn. I apologize. That's an insult. I take that back. The casting of Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, and then a little bit of information on the Batmobile. So, excuse me. First things first, right? Which is the Batsuit, or the first reveal of the Batsuit, which I found a bit underwhelming, to be honest, because there wasn't really much revealed. I mean, it's just mainly the chest shot, the shot of the bat shield, the bat logo in the middle of the chest, which I think it's an interesting look. I'm not quite sure if I like it. It's not the traditional just black bat winged design, nor is it the gold, the one with the gold trim. It honestly looks like it almost looks like to me like it's a like Bruce could like pull the shield out of the chest part and like quickly assemble it into a gun or some other weapon. That's the kind of impression that I get from it. Uh, and that certainly I certainly wouldn't put it past Bruce to weaponize the bat logo on the chest in that manner. It's just a different look. It's not bad. It's just, I guess, just not what I'm accustomed to. But I think it gets the job done. I can't really say I'm happy with this reveal because there isn't really a lot that's been revealed. We don't know whether or not he's gonna wear a utility belt. Plus, there's this red tint throughout the entire thing, which honestly gives it more of a Daredevil feel, and I don't know why they went with that. But then it ends with we get a side profile of Pattinson's face, so we see like his jaw and whatnot. His chin is kind of tucked into his chest a little bit, and then he lifts his head. Again, it's not really a lot to go on, so I really can't give much of an opinion other than that I think the bat shield it's an interesting take on it, giving it this again, looks like it's a weapon that could be quickly assembled and pulled out of the chest cavity part. And we don't really see much of the mask. So I don't know. I guess the jury's still out. I'm wondering what the rest of the mask is going to look like. I'm hoping it has the tall ears. I like the tall, spiky ears on a Batman costume. I don't like it when the ears are shorter, because it just doesn't stand out as much from a visual design, from a character design standpoint. But we'll see what happens. So I guess I don't have much of an opinion on the reveal itself. It wasn't a lot to go on. So there's that. There's my non-opinion, I guess, on the Batsuit. But now there's the casting of Robert Pattinson himself as Batman. Believe it or not, I'm gonna give this a chance, right? And here's the reason why I'm giving this a chance. Because I can't think of one film version of Batman that I've ever seen or that I've been aware of that I ever thought looked like Batman, looked like an accurate depiction of Batman from the comics. Michael Keaton didn't look like Batman when he wasn't in the Batsuit. Val Kilmer didn't look like Batman when he wasn't in the Batsuit. George Clooney didn't look the part. What's his name? The actor who played him in the Dark Knight trilogy. His name escapes me. at the moment. He didn't look the part. Ben Affleck didn't look the part for the brief amount of time that he played Batman in the films. I can't think of one actor that I thought looked the part. Like when I saw Henry Cavill as Superman, I said, yes, that's Superman. That is the comic book version of Superman in real life. I've never thought that of any actor, at least I've ever seen for the films, uh, for Batman. Never thought, oh, this is the guy. He looks just like Batman, just in real life, right? And maybe hairstyle, hair dye, a good shave, might make him look closer to the part. Who knows? Don't know yet. What I'm hoping for, aside from him, from his acting ability, and depending on which take or which version of Batman they're going with for this film, right? There are versions of Batman where he's more heroic. There are versions of him where he's more of an anti-hero. So I'm not even quite sure which version of Batman they're even going with, uh, whether or not Pattinson can actually embody the role. So there's that. But I do hope that they will have him work out hard and have him bulk up a little bit, because Batman's body, right? He's very big and bulky and muscular, and that's not a look that Robert Pattinson is really associated with, right? Most people associate him with Twilight, and Twilight, he was very slim and all that. So I'm hoping that they'll have him work out and bulk up some to better physically embody the character, or if not, maybe, effects, tricks, lighting, um, camera angles can make him look much more imposing and physically powerful than perhaps he actually is. But who knows? I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm willing to give it a shot. And then next is Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. Now, yes, it's another arbitrary, unnecessary race lift, which I actually kind of feel bad for Zoe for, because just because of the race issue alone, she's going to be compared to Halle Berry and that god awful Catwoman film from like the early to mid 2000s, and that's not fair, in my opinion. But that's what's going to happen, because when you race lift the character, you immediately make race an issue. But at the same time, I can't really complain about this particular race lift, because again, there was the Halle Berry Catwoman film, and even prior to that, right, Eartha Kitt played Catwoman, I believe, in the 1960s TV show, right? So there is precedent for live action versions of Catwoman being played by non-white women. But again, I think that it's going to be a challenge. I'm not saying Zoe Kravitz can't meet that challenge. I'm not familiar with her as an actress. But I'm just saying there is going to be a challenge because, one, the Halle Berry Catwoman factor, and two, even if she's able to get past that barrier of being compared to that version of Catwoman because of the film, because of things beyond her control, I think what's also going to happen, at least with some people, with a certain subset of the audience, I think that she could possibly be compared to Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. If I remember correctly, Michelle played Catwoman in, what was it, Batman Returns, which would have been like the early 90s, because the Batman, the original Batman film, or at least the one I saw, came out in 1989, and I think Batman Returns was like 1990, 1991. So I think for a generation, namely my generation, I think that sort of the iconic film version of Catwoman is Michelle Pfeiffer, right? That crazy leather costume that had the white stitching and all that stuff. So I do think that, again, I think not everybody, but some people, I think, are going to sort of compare her to that standard. Then of course there's comparison to the actress who played Catwoman in the Nolan films, but I don't know. I don't think that's going to factor in too much. No offense to that actress, but I don't think she really made an impact with the role to me. To me, I think the biggest comparisons are going to be to Halle because of race and to Michelle Pfeiffer. Just because she just took such an iconic turn back in the early '90s with the role. Now, I want to be clear. I'm hoping Zoe Kravitz does well. I want her to do well because especially with this picture here, I think that she does look like more modern depictions of Catwoman, especially with the shorter pixie cut. Skin tone aside, right? I think if you put the skin tone aside and you compare things like their hair, their makeup, their facial and bone structure, I do think it's similar. I do think she does reasonably resemble the comic book version of Catwoman, more or less, right? Now, the thing I'm most concerned about, more than the arbitrary race flip, honestly, is the characterization of Catwoman. As we've all seen with Birds of Prey, the people involved with these films are not all that invested or concerned about characterization. And as we also know from the Birds of Prey film, we're living in a no-fun zone when it comes to the entertainment industry. And I think this could, I want to be clear, I'm not saying it will, but I do think it could hamper a proper, accurate characterization and representation of Catwoman. Because here's the thing about Catwoman, and it cannot be denied. She is sexy. Like her, hate her, I personally I could never stand the character. I can't stand Marvel's equivalent in Black Cat. Characters like them just annoy me to high heaven. But there is one thing you cannot deny, and it's that Catwoman is sexy as all hell. And that is an important, integral part of the character. You cannot have a Catwoman who is not sexy. You cannot have a Catwoman who isn't strutting around in tight, sexy clothing, right? That has to be there. She has to exude a dangerous, femme fatale allure and sex appeal. Okay? You have to have that. It's not Catwoman if you don't. Okay? She has to be flirty and she has to be a temptation for Bruce. And here's another huge thing. She needs to be sexy and alluring to a male audience, to a male perspective. This is important. Because again, her most famous lover, I know people are going to say, but she's bisexual. Yeah, that's what DC does to all their females when they're popular and they want to keep shipping options open, so they just retcon her sexuality and say she's bi without actually ever showing any actual hints of actual bisexuality. They've done it to Harley, Poison Ivy, Catwoman, Wonder Woman. They do that to every female that they have when she gets popular because fan service lesbians. But here's the thing. Regardless of whatever is officially stated about Catwoman's sexuality by DC, the fact remains that her most iconic enemy and lover is Bruce Wayne, is a heterosexual man. So this version of Catwoman needs to be, first and foremost, sexy and alluring and appealing and tempting to a male audience. Men have to look at her and go, damn! That's the response that you need, in my opinion. That's how you will know she is sexy enough, when the male audience starts going crazy in a positive way. If she's not sexy to men, you are doing it wrong. That's my opinion. Okay, she needs to be so sexy that like the most ardent, devout believer in God would commit every sin imaginable just to get close to her. This is how sexy she needs to be. because again, she has to be a temptation for Batman, right? He represents, although he's a vigilante, law and order, right? She's a criminal. She flies in the face of everything that he represents and fights for. But there's this attraction, this connection to each other. You have to be able to embody that. So she needs to be sexy. You can't get around it. If she ain't sexy, it ain't Catwoman. And then finally is the Batmobile. Now, I don't think any official builds or anything have been released yet, but I did find this. This is a clip from a video online, which I will link to in the description. So the tweet here says, "Here are some of Thorpe or something, unique vehicle designs. Maybe these give us a good idea of what kind of style Robert Pattinson's Batmobile will have. Hashtag the Batman." So this company, from what I've read, deals in muscle cars, and according to this video, the Batmobile is going to be a muscle car. And if that's true, I'm quite happy to hear that. I've always preferred the more muscle car look, like the one you see in the cartoons or in the '89 film. I was not a fan at all of that tank looking thing from the Nolan trilogy. As you can probably figure out from this video, I am not a fan of the Nolan trilogy. I'm sorry, it just didn't work for me. But anyway, so I'm really hoping that it's a muscle car and is more in line with what you've seen in the video games and the comics and some of the older films. Like this black car here, I'm really hoping that they use that as a template, because that looks so cool. Plus, completely unrelated, but I'm going to share it anyway. The Batmobile has a special meaning to me because when I was a little kid, around like 5, 6 years old, my aunt, I had many aunts growing up, but one of my aunts took me and my brother and my cousin, I believe it was around Easter. She took us to a car show where I got to see a replica Batmobile that was like, I don't think it was a replica used in the film, but it was made in the style of, right? It was a replica, at least from best I could tell as a little kid, of the film Batmobile. And when I was that age, like, I was just like Batman everything. I was obsessed with Batman, and that was my favorite film ever. That would eventually be replaced by Beauty and the Beast, but when I was 5, that Batman film meant the world to me. So, and that car meant the world to my little mind, and I still remember that to this day. So, I'm sincerely hoping that the Batmobile, if only just for my own nostalgia, I'm really hoping that the Batmobile, once it's fully revealed, is closer to the muscle car look, closer to what's in the comics and in the video games and the older films. That's just me. I just wanted to just share that little unique tidbit out of my life. But anyway, so that's the video, right? And so let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day or night or weekend, whatever you're doing. Be happy, be healthy, be safe. And I'd like to say a welcome to a new subscriber. I believe the name is Q. Kyu. Q? It's not Kyo. I know that. I think it's Q. So, welcome, Q. I hope that you continue to enjoy the content, and I hope that everybody who's been here, especially since the beginning, continues to enjoy the content. So, I will see you all around. Bye.